welcome back to the Warriors Garden, guys. Today we are talking about POM Pepper Spray's newest item in their lineup, that being the POM Home Defense. And guys, this can is pretty gnarly. It is a pretty big can of pepper spray, and today we're going to be testing it out, showing you guys how to use it and all that good stuff, along with talking about who this can is for, in my opinion, because I don't think it's for everybody, but I do think there's some people that could really benefit from this. And before somebody comments, no, I don't think this eliminates the purpose at all for firearms. I would still recommend you have a firearm over pepper spray to defend your home and to defend your property and your loved ones, whether that be a rifle or a pistol or a shotgun, whatever it is, whatever you train with. Still think you should have a firearm. However, even if you have a firearm, I do think there's some scenarios that this pepper spray in your house might still be applicable. So we'll do our scripture reading and then we'll talk about it.
Today's verse of the day comes from Colossians 3:13. Bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you.
All right, guys, we have our POM Home Defense can. We have our attacker right here who's about 5 to 7 feet from us. He's broken into our house, he's got a firearm, and we're going to hit him with some pepper spray. A couple things to note real quick. One, on the can it does say to be at least 15 feet away from whoever you're spraying. I'm not doing that for a couple reasons. One, I don't think it's necessarily very likely that you might be 15 feet away. If they're in your house, you're probably going to be much closer than that. 15 feet in a house is pretty far unless you're in like a hallway or something. Two, I'm going to try and create distance after I spray, so I'm going to spray and be moving back like you probably would if you're using this, instead of, obviously you don't want to be moving towards them while spraying. And then a third thing to consider is I am outside, so there is a slight breeze, which might affect slightly how this sprays, but I really want to see what this spray looks like at this distance, what the spread is of it. I know their smaller cans are a very fine mist or a very fine like stream at closer distance. So we're gonna figure out how this sprays. Basically, I'm just gonna pull the pin. I'll try and get that on camera for you guys. I'm gonna pull the pin and spray our attacker. So pull the pin, pull the pin. Wow, okay, yeah. All right, guys, we've let the pepper spray kind of dissipate into the air, and we're up at the log now. So this log is about 2 foot across. Obviously, nobody's head is this big, but something cool I want to show you guys is this darker area right here where the pepper spray was thickest, where it hit. That's about 3.5, maybe 4 inches tall. That's a huge spread. And then outside of that, it's probably a little hard to see in camera, but there's a little bit lighter area of spray that's maybe about, I don't know, I'd say it's probably like 8 to 10 inches tall of spray. So if you can get it near or around their face, you have a pretty good chance of just soaking their face with that stuff, which is gonna immediately shut their face and eyes and nose and everything down right away. Unlike their thinner spray, or their smaller sprays, excuse me, they have a very thin little jet where you could actually miss their eyes, kind of like what happened when I had it done to me initially. If you're on their face, you're getting their eyes and their nose and their mouth and their ears. So that's pretty nasty. That was at 5 to 7 feet. We're gonna move back now and do it again and see what the results are. All right, guys, we're at about 25 feet. We are not going to retreat this time while we spray. I'm just going to spray the attacker. Same scenario, obviously, and we are going to see how wide this spread is on him at this distance. So let's see what happens. All right, guys, as you just saw, this did not shoot 25 feet. It shot about 23 and a half foot as I taped it. And I believe that's because that was the second burst that I used with this can. I obviously shot it at the 5 foot mark first. And like anything else that's pressurized, as you shoot it, the less pressure it has in the can, the shorter the distance that it can actually travel. So I'm guessing the reason it didn't hit 25 foot is that if I would have shot this with my initial burst at 25 feet, it probably would have made it. I don't know that for a fact, obviously, because I don't have another new can. However, that's my assumption. Now, while it's important to note that it didn't hit the 25 foot mark, it's also as important to note, in my opinion, that if this was in a home defense scenario where you're in the house, two things. One, more than likely, that person's probably moving towards you. So they're gonna be walking into that spray. So even if they're at 25 foot and they walk towards you, now they're getting absolutely hammered by this stuff. Because that spray, that cone at 23 feet was like this. So you're absolutely getting soaked in pepper spray. Number two, even if they stayed at that 25-foot mark and were just in the room, as this stuff starts to fill up that room and is in the air around them, they're going to be breathing it in, and they're still going to have some effect of pepper spray. I actually had to move back from where I sprayed this because the wind shifted slightly, and I got a little bit of that pepper spray in my nose and in my throat, and now my throat is scratchy and my nose is runny. So I'm outside and I still got a little bit of it, so it definitely, in my opinion, would still be effective, at least in that type of scenario in your house where it might not completely make it to them initially. I think you could still have some effect from it, even if it's not quite as great as getting just hammered in the face with this stuff. So worth noting, didn't shoot the 25-foot on the second burst. All right guys, we got the GoPro set up behind the face shield now. We're gonna spray the GoPro and show you what it looks like to get pepper sprayed with this stuff. Alright guys, we're done with the outdoor testing. We're going to talk a little bit more about the product though. So we're going to be talking about specifications, we're going to be talking about who this is for, because it's definitely not for everybody. However, the people it is for, I think this could be very beneficial to have. We're going to talk about how to set this up and what it's going to look like when you get it, and a couple other things along those lines. We're also going to be talking about some of POM's new packaging for some of their other products, because I think you're getting a better bang for your buck now than you used to be with their new packaging. And that'll be at the end. It's not really related to this necessarily, so yeah, just throwing that in there at the end of this video. But quick clarification from earlier outdoor testing. I said this did not shoot 25 feet, and the can says it shoots 25 feet. I did misread. It says it shoots up to 25 feet, and the little tag that comes with it does say up to 25 feet. So, you know, it says it shoots up to 25 feet. I thought it said it shoots 25 feet, so there's a little wording thing there. I do want to be fair to everybody that I review, so worth noting. And also on their website, worth noting, it says that this shoots 20 plus feet, so a little bit of a difference there on their website versus what the can even says. And I guess jumping into specifications right now, the can says, if I can get that to focus for you guys, come on. The can, whatever, there we go. The can says up to 9.2 ounces of pepper spray. Their website says 7.2 ounces, so that is different as well. I'm not sure if that's just a typo or what. However, I'm going to go off what the can says because that's what's actually being printed on here. I'm going to guess that this is 9.2 ounces and that the website was just a typo, but I guess worth noting. So let's talk about the specifications since we're already diving into it. First and foremost, this is made in the USA along with all of their other products. So if you're looking for an American-made pepper spray, here you go. If you want to support an American company, yeah, there you go. Website will be linked down below for them. It is an affiliate link, so if you do want to support the channel, that's another way you can do it. If you don't want to support the channel, then just go Google search POM pepper spray. But if you do support the channel, I appreciate you. Thank you. Other specifications. So, like I just mentioned, it shoots 20 plus feet. I think that's probably a little bit better way to say it, especially as it dies down as you shoot it. This is the same OC spray formula that is in their other products, like their Mark III and like their other little everyday carry pepper sprays. So it's still the very potent stuff that you guys saw on the channel earlier when I tested it on myself. That'll be linked up here, but still a very potent spray. Make sure I get all the important stuff for you guys. This has got 20 bursts or up to 10 seconds of continuous spray, which is really a lot. I know 10 seconds doesn't necessarily sound like a lot, like initially. However, you guys saw how much liquid was coming out of this thing. 10 seconds of getting sprayed by this would be absolutely devastating. Even if you got hit for a second of this, would just be lights out. So if you connect this on someone's face, they are, I don't care who you are, their eyes are getting shut down. So 10 seconds of this on someone's face would be very brutal and not something I personally would want to endure. So pretty good amount of time that you can shoot this. The 20-foot thing, like I mentioned, maybe you all have some bigger homes than I do. I don't necessarily think 20 feet is necessary for inside the house. I think it's good that it has that capability. I think it's good that you can shoot up to that distance if you're outside or something like that, getting somebody off your property. However, for indoor purposes, I'm guessing most people will be shooting this within that 20-foot range. So, but good to have the capability and not need it than need it and not have it. So, the pistol grip, another feature on this. I didn't really mention this while shooting it, but it is very well designed. It's very comfortable, ergonomic, one might say. I don't feel like I have to camp my wrist real bad either direction. It feels very natural when I hold it and spray it. Very comfortable, very easy to grab onto. Probably like every other person on YouTube that ever does anything gun related, they say they have big hands. I have big palms. My fingers are kind of short, I guess, but I wear a XL or 2XL glove typically, and I can get my full hand on here with a little bit of pinky room there. If I get my finger up in here comfortably, my pinky sits at the bottom of it. The trigger or paddle right here is very easy to press. I don't have any issues pressing that, and it's pretty wide so you can get your whole thumb on there. It's not textured or anything where you actually press it, which I don't think is a huge deal because it's big enough, again, that you can get your whole thumb on top of it. It did take a little bit of, like, there's no sights like a pistol obviously, so your initial like burst or spray, as you guys saw when I did it, you kind of have to guess where you're at, just point and shoot, and then bring the pepper spray down or over, whatever you need to do, make adjustments. But unlike a gun, you can't see your bullets. You can see where the spray is at, so you can very quickly adjust and actually hit your target if you're not hitting them initially. So there's that. The date for the pepper spray when it expires is on the bottom here. So after it expires, you'll know that you need to replace it, or I guess you could continue to use it. I don't really know, I guess, how effective or how ineffective pepper spray becomes after it reaches that expiration date, but that's where that's at. And then the safety pin. This is actually a very easy and intuitive. It's very easy to use, and I didn't have any issues pulling it out. Just ripped it right out, broke free very easily. Basically, there is two plastic balls, one right here, and there was one right here, and that bottom one that's missing hooks into that little hook. Off the camera. Hooks into that little hook right there, and when you pull this pin, that ball breaks free, and now your pin comes out. The nice thing about this is that you can actually replace this. So it's got these little detent plastic pieces right here. You guys will hear how solid of a snap this is when I put it back in. So it clicks in place. You can no longer press the trigger, so that's good. And it stays in place even without this little plastic ball holding it down. As you can see, that's not falling out. I like that because if you did have to use this for whatever reason, and you didn't use all of it, and you need to put some of it back, you have that ability to throw it back in there, and you can still make the pepper spray safe without too much worry of losing this pin. So those are the main specifications, the broader scale there. There's other stuff, obviously, you can look on their website if you want to see exactly what's in this and how strong it is and all that. I'm not going to bore you with that, but you can see that on their website. So next thing's next. How does it come when you get it? It's going to look like this. It's going to have this big plastic red keeper on it. You're going to want to cut this off right away. Don't pull it off because it is looped through the safety pin right here. I keep saying safety pin, but the actual pin to, I guess it is a safety pin, whatever. You're gonna cut this off. It's also got this informational pamphlet on it. Read it or don't, that does not bother me. But then something different that I want to note, this one did not come like this, and this one did. So I'm not sure if this is the correct way or if this is the correct way. What I'm talking about is this little orange piece right here. This one came with the red and the tag and everything. However, it didn't come with this little orange plastic piece. So I'm not entirely sure what that is or why it's there, because I don't necessarily think it has anything to do with the not being able to actuate the trigger. I'm pretty sure that's just the pin's job. So I need to reach out to POM Pepper Spray. I just got this one in the mail. Reach out to POM and ask them about that. I'll let you guys know. I'll link or I'll pin a comment on the top of this video that tells you what this is for or what it is, or if you're supposed to remove it or if you're not. I'm not entirely sure. It looks like you could still press the trigger all the way down and this wouldn't interfere with it. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what that is, but I will do my due diligence and I will pin that up top for you guys. And yeah, so when you get this, make sure you take the tag off, make sure you make it ready so you can actually use it if you have to for whatever reason. So, who is this for? In my opinion, if you are in a state where you can legally own a firearm and keep it in your house with relative ease, so not a commie state, I think that this is less applicable. Not completely, but less applicable, because especially if your state has the castle doctrine, basically meaning you can defend your home with less fear of the criminal justice system wronging you for defending your home. But my go-to is going to be a firearm still if somebody breaks into my house or is on the property it's not supposed to be. However, there are times I could see where this might be applicable, whether it be an animal's on your property and you don't necessarily want to shoot it. Like if you live in the upper part of Michigan, you cannot shoot wolves, even if they're killing like your dog or whatever. You can get in big trouble for shooting one. However, I don't think you can get in trouble for pepper spraying one. I don't really know if that's true or not. So I guess read your local laws before. But I do know a guy in the UP who his dog was being attacked by a wolf, and he couldn't really do much about it other than yell at the wolf and try and scare it away because he did not want to get in trouble for shooting one, and wasn't able to tell if it was collared and all that stuff. So anyhow, but animals, this might be a decent option for. And then on top of that, where it really starts becoming more applicable, if you're like a college student, or you live in a, or you actually, if you can't get a firearm, so for whatever reason, if you're unable to obtain a firearm, or if you let's say you live in an apartment that says you're not allowed to have firearms, any place where you can't have a firearm, but you still want a good way to defend yourself with some distance and range, this is what I would tell you to get. So if you're in a college apartment or college dorm or something like that, like when I was in college, I couldn't keep a firearm on campus with me, obviously, because colleges are like that. So if someone were to get into my dorm room for whatever reason, or there was a shooter on campus or something like that, and you had this in your dorm, this would be a very viable option, at least to try and stop or debilitate somebody so you could get away. So there is a range or market for this, or if you're even just like, if you're afraid of firearms, I guess you could have this, or if you're unable to save up and purchase a firearm because they're expensive and you're saving up to get one right now or something. These are only like $40, I think, so not necessarily cheap, but $40 is a lot cheaper than a $300 pistol and magazines and ammunition and a holster and all that. This is a very quick and easy entry into self-defense. So I think if you kind of fall into the category of not able to own a firearm, or unable to have one where you're at, or something in between there, not wanting to have one, whatever it might be, I think this would be a very viable option. The other part of that as well, I think, is if you can have firearms and you have them in your house, great, but you have kids and you don't necessarily want your kids getting into something, maybe they're super young, or maybe you haven't shown your kids how to use and handle firearms properly, which you should, this could also be a good option, because some states have now enacted stuff that says you can get in trouble as the parent if your child gets a hold of one of your firearms and they're not locked up safely. So, not saying that you should just leave this out all willy-nilly. However, you can have this a little bit more accessible, whether it be in a kitchen cabinet up high or mounted on the wall or something. You can have this more accessible in your house than a firearm, short of the firearm being on you. So this would just be a little bit quicker and easier thing to get to for most scenarios, I would guess, for most people. Obviously, there's companies like Stopbox and other companies that are making quick open boxes that you can get into your firearm quickly if you don't have it on you. Again, but this you could store a little bit more freely with less fear of the law or the justice system getting at you. Again, spank your kids, teach your kids not to get into stuff that's not theirs, and definitely teach them firearm safety. However, I understand that that does not solve the problem of all kids, or if you have friends over, your kids have friends over, and those kids aren't trained or raised up like your kids are. But that's worth noting as well. And the good thing about this, although this would really stink, it does stink to get sprayed by, if your kids were to get into it, most of the time, I'm not going to say 100% of the time, it's not going to be life-threatening. So, big difference of somebody's life being completely altered because they got shot, or somebody having a really bad afternoon because they got sprayed with pepper spray. I guess that's worth noting as well for who this might be applicable to and who this might be for. So, again, for everybody, absolutely not. If you are a single dude, or just a man and a woman living at a house together, married couple, and you got firearms staged throughout your house, I don't really see you needing this. I wouldn't spend the money on it. However, if you fall into one of those categories, this might be a good choice for you to look into. So yeah, worth noting there. worth talking about as well, I know some people have said and will continue to say that pepper spray is not a good choice for home defense because it's going to get all over and it could get on you as well, and it could blind you as well, temporarily blind you. And while I agree, yes, this could get on you, it could make you have a bad day as well, I would much rather have this than nothing, and I'd much rather have a firearm than this. So like I said, obviously, if you can get a firearm, use that for home defense. I think it's a better solution. However, if I couldn't get a firearm in all the other situations we talked about earlier, this is much better than nothing, and it's definitely a lot better than grabbing a kitchen knife and trying to attack somebody with that, or grabbing a glass or something to throw at them. Like, this is a much better solution and a much better middle ground than nothing or firearm. So again, I'd rather have the firearm than this, but this is better than nothing. And if you can have this and get a little pepper spray in your eyes, or a lot of pepper spray in your eyes because you actually used it in your house and now you can't see, but the attacker also can't see, that's a much better day than being attacked and possibly being dead or whatever other scenario comes along with that. Yeah, I'd rather have a little pepper spray in my eye than have someone break into my house and have nothing to defend myself with. So, worth noting, again, you might get pepper spray on you, but that doesn't make this a bad home defense weapon or a bad way to defend your house. So, alright, I think I covered most of what I want to talk about for this. I'm sure I'll probably think of something that I forgot to say right after I turn this camera off, but I'll let you guys know in that top comment at some point what about this orange thing needs to be done, if anything. And yeah, so there is the POM Home Defense. Now real quick, I want to show you guys the new packaging for POM. So it used to be when you got POM pepper spray that it would come in a little plastic package, and you would get the pepper spray and one color ring that you picked. So like this one came with yellow, this one came with black. That's what I got. Obviously I could switch these two out, which is cool, but that's what you got. You got what you picked. Now their packaging is coming with all their different colors, which is pretty cool, or most of their different colors. I guess yellow's not in this one, but now it comes with all these colors. It's not any more expensive. It's the same price, so you're getting a little bit more bang for your buck, because now you can take these and throw them onto there, and you'll get a little bit more for what you're paying for. And the Mark IIIs also no longer come in a brown box. They come in their own packaging with good information on them. So worth noting, not really applicable to the, not really on topic for the video of the home defense, but worth noting again. I keep saying worth noting. It's kind of stuck in my head right now. And then for anybody that's been following the channel for a while, now that we're off topic already, I have been testing these guys out for about the last month. I'll have a video coming out after about another month of testing them, because there is a little bit of wear happening on these, and I want a little bit more thorough testing. So these are pepper spray holsters made by RushCarry.com is the website, RushCarry, the company. So anyhow, if you are wondering about these, I have not forgotten about them. Alright guys, that is actually one more thing. Talk about pepper spray in your house. So if you are using pepper spray in your house, some things to consider. This is going to get everywhere and be all over the place, so definitely going to want to retreat after you spray it into another room or something like that. Just be cautious when you're using this, especially if you're testing it, that you don't get it on yourself, because it doesn't feel very good. And if you do get it on yourself, make sure you rinse it off with some cold water right away, and then clear up your skin so it's not sitting on it for a long period of time. But yeah, there you guys go. POM Home Defense pepper spray.